Hi there, and good morning. Welcome to Yoga with Mind Fitness. Today we're going to get started in a comfortable seat at the top of your mat. We're going to be working through a little bit of detoxing, a little bit of Kundalini. So whenever you're ready, get comfortable, and I'll meet you at a seated position at the top of your mat. We're going to begin focusing the breath here. You're going to be breathing in through your nose and out of your nose. The goal here is just to build a little bit of heat here through the nostrils and through the belly. So as you inhale, breathe up through your nose. As you exhale, send it all the way out. Repeat this a couple more times. Inhale, everything lifts. Exhale, take it all the way down. Begin to roll the shoulders a couple of times back behind, creating a little bit of space here, finding a little bit of movement, maybe reversing that direction forward. Big breath here, maybe wiggling the shoulders. I always like to find some movement in my practice. This is your practice. You can move and ebb and flow in any way that suits your body. I'm going to come back to center here. Now from here, we're going to adjust sitting onto our heels. If this is inaccessible for you, you can always continue sitting cross-legged. But we're just going to work here with the breath. So we're going to begin by focusing that breath in through our nostrils again. We're breathing in through our nose and out of our nose. We're building heat through the body. Really engaging that breath and body connection this morning. Creating that breath and body connection can help you throughout your day in your daily life, not just on the mat. So we'll begin here. I'm going to turn so you can see. We're going to be working through some upright cat-cows. So as you inhale through your nose, you're going to lift the head and the chest, looking up. As you exhale, you're going to round the spine, tuck the tailbone. And you can use your hands here, breathing in through the nose, out of the nose, building heat. Couple more. Exhale, send it all the way out. Take your time. Really getting some spinal movement here this morning. Working through that breath, building the heat. You should be feeling it now. You can take your arms to goddess or cactus. So we're just adding on here, bringing the elbows together as we round the spine, tucking the tailbone. Using that same breath in and out of the nose, building heat, waking up the spine. We're going to come back to center here, hands to heart center, and then we're going to work our hands into a bear claw. So take your left hand first. Left hand comes to the front, facing your body. Right hand meets it, palm to palm, facing out. You're going to be pulling here, and as you inhale, you're going to go down to the left. Exhale up to the right. Using that same breath here. Just working the elbows up and down. Nice and slow. You want those hands to stay right in the center of your chest. You can build the heat if you'd like. And exhale, bring it back to center. We're going to reverse that flow. So feel free to work through a couple on the opposite side before you release. And then shake out the hands here. Come back to center. We're going to take a moment. Settle in with our breath. You should be feeling a little bit of heat right now, particularly in the shoulders and maybe even in the belly. So we're just going to continue with that heat and add on a little bit. So go ahead and make your way back into a cross-legged position. We're going to begin by taking our left hand to the right knee and taking the right hand back behind, just finding a gentle spinal twist, not wedging through your spine, using the belly to help you wring out. Think of like a dishcloth. You're wringing out a rag. That's how you are cleaning out your intestines and your digestive system when you do spinal twists, which are really, really good for you. So just take about another breath here. And then we will go ahead and begin to work our way back to center, taking a couple of shoulder rolls in between. And then we're going to work through the same thing on the opposite side. So whenever you're feeling ready, we're going to go ahead and take the right hand to the left knee, and the left hand comes back behind, taking the gaze or drishti just over that shoulder. Remember, we're not wedging the spine here, just slightly wringing out the intestines, digestive system, massaging our organs for the day to get them nice and ready for all of the nutrients that we'll be absorbing today through our food. Go ahead and wiggle out the spine here as you work your way back to center. Maybe a couple more shoulder rolls here. Take a breath. And then you've got a couple of options here. You can stay seated here on your bottom, or you can make your way back up onto your knees. We're going to be taking the hands to the shoulders here, being really mindful of our neck and our head here. Hands to the shoulders, you're going to keep your head aligned. So as you turn your body, it can turn a little bit with your body, but you're not physically turning your head at all. You're just working through side to side. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Using your core. And exhale, bring it back to center. Release the hands, shake out the palms, make wrist circles. Whatever serves you, and we'll warm up your wrists a little bit for a moment. Just giving the hands and wrists a little TLC before we work through the opposite side. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And big inhale, everything lifts, taking the hands up, exhaling them down. Resting here as we flex at the palms. Maybe making some more wrist circles. Taking your time here to work through each side. Giving a little bit of love to your body. And exhaling the hands all the way down. From here, we're going to be adjusting and working into our tabletop. So you want your hands directly under your shoulders, your knees under the hips. We're going to work through a couple rounds of cat-cow. So as you inhale, begin to lift the head, the chest, and the tailbone. Exhale, round the spine, press the mat away as you pull that tailbone under. You can spend as much time here as you need. And we're just going to work through a couple on your own breath. As you exhale, yes, rounding the spine, tucking the tailbone. Inhale, everything lifts. Exhale, pressing the mat away, maybe shaking the head out a little bit, creating a little space in the neck. Then we're going to tap those feet out. Tap, 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 and all the way. Tap, tap, tap. This is really good for increasing blood flow into your feet. Tuck the toes, sit the hips up and back. We'll find our first downward facing dog of the day. Make sure you're pedaling out your feet, being mindful of your knees. It's okay if your heels don't touch the mat. It's completely normal. Just work through here. Bike in your feet for a moment. Take your time. Then we're going to take our feet a little bit wider, about mat width apart. We're going to take the left hand to the outside of the right ankle, the right calf muscle, or even the right thigh. You're just going to breathe here into the spinal twist, taking your gaze or drishti up through the arm. Take your time. As we inhale, bring it back to center. This time we're going to do the same thing with the right hand. Taking the right hand to the left ankle, left calf, left thigh. Really breathing through here. Remember, we're wringing out the belly here. And then as we exhale, we'll bring it back to center, working our way into a plank pose. Tuck the tailbone. Take a time here. We're going to inhale, take the left toes up. Exhale them down, take the right toes up, looking forward. Exhale, send it all the way down. We're going to be hovering the knees here. We're going to work through opposite shoulders. So you're going to tap opposite shoulders here, building a little bit of more heat in the core. Just taking about 5 on each side. Beautiful. Take your time. Exhale, we're going to sit back into a child's pose, walking the hands all the way forward, resting the sit bones onto the heels. And you can take any modification of your child's pose that sees fit for you and serves your practice this morning. We're just going to breathe in here. We're about halfway through the practice, so you can check in with your body, see how everything's feeling. Take your time, take a couple of breaths here. Child's pose is very restorative. It's always a safe place whenever you need a break in your practice. We're going to go ahead and work our way up. We're going to take the right hand and thread it under the left side here, finding a little spinal twist again. Just resting lightly onto that right shoulder and ear. You can use your left hand up top for support, or maybe even take it down to your low back if you need a little bit more. Wherever you are, take your time. This is your practice. We are here for you today. Wherever you are, go ahead and let's bring ourselves back to center, using the right hand for support as we press ourselves back. This time threading the right under the left side. Waking up the other side of our body. Always feels so good. Thank yourself for spending time on the mat. It's important. The hardest part's always showing up. We'll just go ahead here in this threaded needle and take their last breath and then press ourselves back up to center, bringing the knees back under the hips. Then we're going to tuck the toes again from our tabletop pose, send the hips up and back. Find your downward dog again, lightly pedaling out the feet. Then you can either walk your hands up to your feet or feet up to hands. Keep a nice bend in the knees as we find our forward fold, first one of the day. So make any adjustments that you need here. Protect your knees with a nice bend. You can take your hands back behind you, or even grab opposite elbows here. We're just creating a little bit of length in the neck and the spine. I always like to move around in my forward folds. We don't have to be stagnant in our practice all the time. On your inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands. We're going to step the feet back into our downward facing dog. Your next breath in, we're going to go ahead and work our way down to the forearms, working into our dolphin pose. If you'd like to start in tabletop and walk your feet up into your dolphin pose, you also have that option as well. We'll just take a couple of breaths here, taking your gaze or your drishti into your thighs just like you would in downward dog. Don't try to force the heels to the mat, just keep a nice little bend as you exhale, come down back into that child's pose. Stretching a little bit forward. If you'd like a little bit more of a puppy pose here, you can reach with your chest, your chin. On an inhale, go ahead and we're going to work our way up, taking ourselves onto our sit bones, and we're going to work into my favorite, toe taps here. So think of a boat pose, and then you're just tapping your feet, maybe 5 or 10 on each side. You also have the option of taking a full high to low boat, if that serves you better. Wherever you are, just work through 5 to 10 on your own breath. At the last one, we're going to hold it before exhaling and releasing. We're going to wind down here. So take your arms out to the sides. We're going to take the right leg up at 90 degrees, taking the left hand to the right knee as we guide it over the front side body here. So take your gaze or your drishti to the opposite side. And breathe through a little bit more. A little spinal love here. You can always flex at the feet if you'd like to feel a little bit more. I was feeling a little bit lighter. So on an inhale, we're going to go ahead and work that foot back to center. Exhaling it down before taking the left knee up at 90 degrees. Right hand to right knee as we make that adjustment. Taking our gaze or our drishti over to the left side this time. And you can make any adjustments you need to. Sometimes I have to move my hips a little bit so I'm in alignment properly. It's okay, it's normal. Go ahead and take one more breath here as we inhale. We'll come back to center. I like to take my legs up here, for legs up the wall afterwards. Inversions are wonderful for you. Just take a second here. We're just going to give our feet a little bit of attention. So as you inhale, turn them outside. Exhale back to center. Maybe rolling each one. Just kind of flexing. And we'll work into that plantar dorsal flexion in a moment. Beautiful. Creating space with your feet. Our feet take a lot, and we don't give them a lot of times, so this can be very nice to add into your practice. Go ahead and take your knees into chest. Give yourself a nice big hug. You've earned it. On an exhale, we can release the hands out to the side. Take the feet up once more, back to 90 degrees. We're going to exhale to the left side, taking the gaze or drishti over to the right. Enjoying a little bit more on our twists. These practices with lots of twists are really good for when you have a cold or allergies, or maybe you ate too much the day before or had too much to drink. These can really help clear out your system and aid in the elimination process. So we're going to just go ahead and switch that to the opposite side if you haven't already. So bring yourself to the center. We're going to exhale over to the right side, taking the gaze to the left. And we'll just take a second here. And then the same spinal twist on the opposite side before working our way back to center. Taking the legs all the way up, reaching for the insides or outsides. Then driving the knees into the arms. Finding that happy baby. Now, if this is a little bit too much for you, you can always modify your happy baby. Maybe it serves you better to do one leg at a time. You can also straighten one leg at a time. Play with your movements, maybe switching to the opposite side. Or you can even go ahead and lengthen both sides if you'd like. Whatever serves your practice. This is your space. I'm just here to guide you. We're going to bring it back to center. Taking one last breath, driving the tailbone down in this happy baby pose before releasing it all the way down. We're going to take the feet together, knees apart, reclined cobblers. I always like to take one hand to my chest, one hand to my belly. Really just touching your body feels nice after a yoga practice. Just giving yourself a little bit of appreciation for showing up on the mat, because we all know that that's the hardest part. So focus your breath here and take a couple more before we extend the legs out, bringing the hands down, palms facing up if you're feeling open today. Now as we lay into this Savasana, our final resting pose of practice, I want you to take a moment here and relax the muscles in your face. Relax your eyebrows and your nose. Relax your tongue and your cheeks. A little furrow above your eyebrows. Let gravity pull on your body. Feel yourself on the mat. You are supported here. You are safe here. Every bit of you is worthy. And just take a couple of minutes in your Savasana. Take as long as you need. And then whenever you're feeling ready, you can go ahead and bring some movement back into your body. I always like to take my arms above my head, roll my feet, really whatever serves you best. We're gonna exhale and find our way into a fetal pose on either side of your mat. Savasana translates from Sanskrit into corpse pose. It represents the death of who you were before you practiced yoga today. The fetal pose represents new lives, new beginnings, and the start of your next adventure. So whenever you're ready for that, you can meet me at a comfortable seat at the top of your mat. Feel free to wiggle it out a little. As always, thank you so much for joining me this morning. I appreciate you, and I am enlightened by your presence. The divine light in me acknowledges and is inspired by the divine light in each of you. Namaste, yogis. I'll see you soon.